Brian.
And political analyst Brian Sobel joins us once again for more on what this means for Trump and Republicans moving forward. Brian, thanks for joining us. You know, we talk about Trump here. We look at what's happened in the past. Accused of inciting a riot, impeached twice, now indicted in this case, making him the first ex-president to be charged with a crime. We've never seen anything like this before as we head into the next presidential election. Where do you think this goes from here?
It will continue from here. It'll be part of the election cycle for sure. There's going to be an argument over whether this was politically motivated by the district attorney of Manhattan to bolster Democratic chances in the election year coming up in 24. So it has all kinds of ramifications and potential consequences, Christina.
Well, one of the biggest questions is whether or not this helps or hurts Mr. Trump, because when you look at this indictment, some people say this may galvanize his base. Others say it may cause some cracks in the foundation. What is your take?
Well, I don't believe his base is the same as it was in 2016, as an example, or in 2020 or through the years. I think, and we know this from polling, that Republicans, while they respected much of what the former president did and some of his policies, I think some of what Donald Trump did personally really upset people, and for that reason, this can go down a couple of different roads. This can either galvanize the Republicans and the Republican base, and that might metastasize to Republicans in general, although I don't think so, or people could say, hey, you know, this is the final straw. We really need to move on. We won't know that for a few more months. Yeah,
that was my next question, because we did hear from the Republican National Committee today, the chairman calling this a blatant abuse of power. And I guess my next question was whether or not we would see more Republicans stepping up and maybe saying it's time to move on from Donald Trump.
Well, this particular case is maybe not the best case to move forward on. I think there are other cases that the former president probably was more interested in the outcome of. For example, the cases in Georgia around voter manipulation and so forth, and some of the statements that he made there. But all of that aside, the question of whether this particular indictment puts Donald Trump sort of out of the race and brings more people in, again, is a question. I think it'll embolden other candidates, Republican candidates, to step in and try to run for the president.
Well, we know that Donald Trump does like attention, and he likes the spotlight being on him. And considering that this is a negative light on him, considering what we have seen in the past, but it is still attention nonetheless. But I'm curious whether or not this impacts Biden, or how does it impact President Biden as we go to 2024?
I think Democrats are going to take a little bit of a wait and see on this. I think they have to decide whether people are going to look at this indictment as a politically motivated event by a staunch Democrat DA in Manhattan, or whether there's more to it. And frankly, we don't know what all this means until the indictment is unsealed next week, and we see what charges are brought against the former president and what evidence, to some extent, they had. But a grand jury did indict him, and so I think President Biden would be well advised to just not say anything for a while and see how this plays out, because we still have months and months to go. It's very early in the next presidential election cycle.
Yeah. Okay, before we let you go, I just wanted to ask one more question, and that is what you think the impact is on the U.S. democracy. We look bigger picture here. What does this mean for the strength of our democracy?
That knife cuts both ways. It's either you're not above the law, and even if you're a former president, you can be indicted, or this is a situation where a New York State, New York City DA well exceeded his authority and brought evidence to a grand jury that may not stand well when more is known. So, again, this is one of these that we just don't know enough at this hour, Christina.
Yeah, we'll wait and see. Okay, political analyst Brian Sobel, appreciate you joining us. Thanks for your insight.
My pleasure.